All right, people. We're gonna continue the scam. So this is his business listing. I'm gonna show you the website that he had actually. All right. So they talk about year founded, single location, and you go here the revenue per annum, about 40K. This is what he declared though. Employee count 1 to 4. Somewhere else I found 1 employee. This is getting registered with the state. You have the number of identification. Doesn't mean much, but you can say it's a small company for a company that does septic and construction, pretty much what I talked about earlier. It showed that it's basically just his name company. We have the listing here. We have a 24-hour service. That's I don't know, it seems you have the website here, a1septicserve.com. So this is what his website looks like. Typical, it's actually not a good version, but if you look more recently, it's a typical, how can I say, homestead, automatically building. I use super page. Okay, that's no, sorry, I clicked the wrong one. I clicked the it was redirected, the domain expired, I think after, and actually that was even before. So you see the special you had, warranted, guaranteed work, yeah, whatever, free estimate. Typical bullshit website. There's not much to say about the website. It was done in 5 minutes, poorly done. The menu is a mess. Some images are missing, but that's the indexing. It's a very bland, average, unimpressive company. That's all there is to say. So he's going to use that company as a cover for his scams. $30,000 is not a small amount of money. So they talk about it. Here they talk about the phone number, estimate, hydro flushing, replacement, treatment, and additive. What happened is that he fixed, I think, a septic tank for Durango Mango. And then Durango Mango said to, I'm going to call her Betty and Eric, they told to her that they wanted to change the pipes, the plumbing in their house from copper to PVC. Copper plumbing is pretty old, but that was in 2006 in rural Maine. One thing I want to say about septic service, when you, I don't know for you, we live in city, when you go to Maine, the small rural area, you pretty much have septic tanks everywhere because there's really no sewer access when you're like 100 miles or 1,000 miles away from big city. Maybe not 1,000 miles, but you get what I mean. It's very difficult to get sewer access to houses that are like 2 miles away from each other. It's not cost effective. There's a lot of, you have to make some big like long plumbing to connect to the city's sewer, and sometimes you don't even have a city sewer. Most places today have fresh water. You can have some water, but that's gonna be like going into the septic system, because the sewer system, you need a facility to treat those water. For places where there's not a big population concentration, it's not really efficient to have a sewer system. So most places are going to have running water, but the water is going to go into a septic system. And I'm telling you that if you never knew about that. And all water that you use goes through the septic system, and then there's a leveling, like to take the solid matter, there's a filter, and the rest of the water is going to go into the ground. Basically, the clean water, not the solid water, and eventually the septic tank is going to hold that matter in this mix. It's not pretty. You also have the shower water goes into that, so you have some soap, you have some shampoo in there, you have maybe even some people are stupid and they flush their tampons. So that's pretty gross. All this to say, eventually your septic tank gets full. Depending on its size, depending on your family, depending how much water is not going to fill a septic tank, is going to be ejected, but everything else, everything solid, is going to end up in the septic tank. There's what we call a natural septic tank, and it drops to the bottom. and you're gonna empty it. And emptying it, it's a very competitive business. It's not really expensive to empty a septic tank. We're talking about maybe $100. And even for the installation, because there are so many septic tanks around, it's very competitive and there's not much money to be made. This is what Lorne did in Washington. He comes back to Maine, he started a business. He does a septic tank job with Betty. Betty hires him for PVC, and they also want an addition to their house. So here we have the first interesting piece. This is supposed to be the wood that Lorne ordered at Lakeview Lumber. You can see here that's probably Texas. 96 2x4x12, 2x4x16, some wood. This is for the structure. The price seems a bit steep. I have to guess that Lorne got some money back from there, because usually when you buy so much you get a discount. The price is not super high for a 2x4x16, but for a business ordering I would expect a discount. And you see two 9x10. Why would you order 9x10? Usually you buy that to support something, but you're very far away from building the roof. I'm not sure what's going on here. Not sure what's going on here. Betty is gonna say that it looks edited. Here says this one is really messed up. The original amount reads 552 here, I guess. Then after all of the scratching out and rewriting, it turned into 99525 or 955, I would say. Yeah, probably 955. Please keep in mind we did ask for the receipt as soon as we started to get suspicious, but he didn't come up with them until he was really pressured. The estimate was on the famous lumber supplier, Lakeview Lumber. It looks, I'm not even sure it's a real order. It could be like a blank. There's a common scam in construction where, look, there's a movie in Canada that came out. It's a guy, he's like 80 years old, and his wife has dementia and she's losing her mind. And the guy wants to build a house for her, and he's a builder. He's done it all his life. So he goes into the forest and he starts chopping down trees, and you know he's a lumberer, so he can cut the tree into wood to build a house. So he does that, and he starts building his house with the wood that he chopped himself. That's pretty cool. And then there's an inspector that comes and says your wood is not certified. You need to have it inspected. You need to pay permits and license, and you need to pay to obtain some symbols. For wood, usually you can track the wood up to where it comes from, because it goes through many hoops. But it's a cartel, you know, the wood shoppers, they manage the business, they don't want competition. But anyway, in the movie, the inspector says your wood is not, it's not regular, it doesn't respect the regulations, so you need to take down your house. And yeah, the guy has already built a foundation, and he's like, it's unfair, I built house all my life, and today I can't even chop my wood to build my own house. And then he goes to court and says, no, you have to regulation and license. And eventually a lawyer takes his case pro bono. And basically the government says you should have bought your wood because that's wood that's certified. And in the movie, there's a guy at some point, he says, the wood that the guy used is of much better quality than what you can buy. The wood that you can buy at stores, it's extremely cheap, poorly stored. It's just a bunch of crap. You know, the regulation that you get from store-bought wood, the regulation, it's useless. You know, it's a scam. It's really, really low quality wood that is passed as construction material. But there's no, it's wood. You chop a tree, you get wood. That's it. But all this to say, there are qualities of wood, and of course, if you chop down your own trees, you know the quality. But some other stuff that you buy, you're going to have certification. They don't mean much. It can be very, very cheap wood. And what do I mean by cheap? Used up, old, dry, poorly cut, poorly resistant, old trees, fallen down trees, broken trees, even pressed wood can be, you can cheat on that. So one common scam, typically when you go to a place like Lakeview Lumber, they're not going to fuck you up with cheap wood. I'm talking about wood that crumbles. For those that don't know, wood Of course, not wood is made equal. You have better trees, better not brand, but better species. But you can you have wood when you drill in them. I had woods that I would drill in them to screw something in, and I could pull out the screw afterward because the wood was wet or it never dried off. So all this to say, Lakeview, they're not gonna fuck you with cheap wood, but you can always find some cheap wood, the kind of wood that you're gonna use for a fireplace, and in some cases, not even for a fireplace because it's that cheap. So one common scam in the industry is you make a fake bill like that, and you pretend that you paid $7.55 to them, but you buy your wood from a very cheap place for $2.55. And in this case, it seems to be what Lorne did. She talks about the changing the price. The writing does look, 2x4x16. It looks a little bit different the way that he maybe added this. It seems that the paper was wrinkled here. This seems like a carbon copy, something like that. So it's possible that he just added this. 2 at $89, like a 9x10. I'm not sure why about that. Trying to think what he could have tried with 2 planks. I'm not sure. And here he kind of scribbled a little bit over it. So maybe he did change 550 something to 950. It's not regular. It's not normal. I know it's 2006, but I would really expect a print receipt. And there's no real tracking number. There's a number here, but is it 995, 985, 965 cash on delivery? Oh no, that's cash on delivery. That's the amount that he paid. So I guess he paid 995 cash on delivery. And there's a number here, but I don't know. It's not regular. There's no like tax number on it. There's no like, you know what I mean. It looks like something that he wrote himself. I'm going to be honest with you. This looked like something that Lorne built himself. Typically, when you buy wood from a place, they're also going to deliver it with a truck with their brand. I think in that case, it just didn't happen. So this is the receipt that he has. Very unlikely that all this wood is worth $900. I would say 2x4x12 for one piece. That's actually a bit cheap. For 96 pieces each, you expect really a 20% discount, if not 25%. Either he's a shitty negotiator, either he made that up completely. Many things are not right. Every single place that I know, they do you a discount if you buy a lot of wood at once, especially those amounts. So here we go. We're gonna see that he doesn't order any like of the covering or concrete. We're also gonna see that he completely because those here 2 inches thick, 4 inches wide, and 12 inches tall, and then he orders 16 inches. These are for the walls. It's a 12 by 16 foot place. So if you calculate the area, 3/4 of the place, you have 60 plus 60 plus 12. That is 132. So this number should be made every I think it's 8 inches. So you would expect a few more than 96 if you want to do it correctly. And this is just to do the walls. Also, the 2 sizes are kind of strange. I don't know. There's many things here that don't add up. I'm not sure what he was trying to do at that. I'm not sure what he was trying to achieve. I know he was trying to build a house, but anybody that has even the slightest hint of construction can look at what he ordered. And those are planks, but what he was going to do with 2 planks, 9x10, it's not standard. What he ordered there. Then he writes, will TDU of, I don't know. Something's not right with that receipt. It's pretty obvious. To me, it looks like you just wrote a bunch of gibberish. It's like going to the mechanic and the mechanic says, the carburetor needed to be cleansed and restored to its original condition. Doesn't mean much. Very hard to see what he's going to do. But this is just the start. This is 22 December. So it's pretty late. The contract, he was supposed to start in December 1. So after 21 days, this is all he has. And he bought that. He bought that on December 22. If he started on December 1, by December 22, he should be working on the ceilings. The wall should be long over. It's a small addition, so it's very messy. It's very, very queer. I'm gonna say.